Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a good guys podcast this morning. We're talking week 3 in the NFL, and we're going to be making week 4 picks. We got some special guests that's going to be coming up in here, also as well while we're talking, you know, week 3 and week 4. So let's get into it. So week 3 was very interesting with the slew of games that we had, and also with the picks that we had, that Will and myself made. We actually agreed on the Thursday picks, that happened Thursday. That the Seattle game where I picked Seattle to win it 24-23, and then Will picked Seattle also 27-20. So, you know, that was that was a good game. I like the fact that Arizona came back and basically tied the game up, but it was just that last second field goal that basically ended that for them. So, it was a good game all around and everything. So I definitely enjoyed it. This week starts the first overseas game, which is the game in Dublin. And it's going to be the Vikings and the Steelers. And if you look at the way that the Steelers has been playing, and then the way that the Vikings been playing, it makes you wonder to say what kind of game this is going to be, um, and everything else. We're going to be getting into a lot of the week 3 stuff. We're going to be getting into the fact that my team, the Washington Commanders, is going to be without Jaden Daniels. We're going to be without Terry McLaurin. We're going to be without John Bates. We're going to be without Noah Brown. So, we're going into Atlanta, and it's going to be interesting. But let's get into it. Let's get into the week 3 games that happened. The first one that I want to get into is the Dallas game. You got you had Dallas and Chicago doing their thing, and it was a good game. It was a real good game, and then next thing you know, I guess the bottom dropped out once CD Lamb um got hurt, and once CD Lamb got hurt, that basically hurt a lot of the game for Dallas. Dallas was in it for a while. Dallas basically, they was moving the ball, and then Chicago just basically put their foot down and said no. So it's gonna be interesting. Week 4. It's gonna be interesting week 4. When they go up against Green Bay. I do believe I have a couple of live guests on here. Like y'all to introduce yourselves. Yeah, you're on. You're definitely on. as y'all as y'all can tell, we have a Dallas Cowboy heart fan up in here, and I'm glad that the Cowboys fans is in here because I want to talk about their game today. Their game, especially. Okay, so let's get into that, and I'm glad that you brought it up. So tomorrow, with the fact that y'all got to face a tough Green Bay team on national TV, how do you think your team is going to, man, how your team is going to come out, and also how hard do you think that they're going to play uh, Green Bay? I hope so too. If Green Bay played the same way that they played against Cleveland, and which to me was a shocker because I thought that they was going to, smash Cleveland, and they didn't. It turned out that defense handled Green Bay. Dallas might could pull it out if they got a better game plan than what they have, even with the fact CD Lamb is going to be out. So yeah, yeah, and because I know Dallas got a good running game, Dak and them, it's the defensive side of the ball that I'm worrying about when it comes to Dallas. And that defensive side of the ball, yeah, and I Hey, I bet because I know a lot of Dallas fans was like, man, we should have had this game, especially against a Chicago team to me that is still feeling themselves. They're still trying to figure out the offense. They're still trying to figure out how to put their people in the right locations on defense and everything else. And to me, Caleb Williams, and I keep saying it, and I'm gonna continue to say it, he has a lot to prove to me. Right now, to me, he's gonna be a bust. I'm just I'm just saying. Uh, Hey, yeah, good to have both of y'all on here as special guests, and hopefully we can do this weekly. And then I like the fact that having y'all on here, y'all can diversify the picks more because my buddy that's normally on here, he's right now 11-20. He don't know how to pick, and I'm 24. I'm 24-9. So I always tell him you need to pick not with your heart but just pick because like last week I picked Dallas and Dallas just totally let me down. So I told him, I say if I would have picked with my heart, I would probably say, oh, Chicago, but no, I picked on what I look at. And I'm glad that we got the Raiders fans on here because Carlos, how do you feel about your team playing against the Bears on Sunday at 425 national televised? They showed a lot of promises in DC until we decided to put that foot down, and the defense stepped up. So, do you think they're going to rebound from that or not? Yeah, yeah, yeah. They fizzled out because that defense got to Geno Smith. But I think that they can. I do believe that the Raiders can rebound, and especially with them being at home, and they're playing a Chicago team, as you said, Carlos, is coming off of an emotional high of a win because of what a lot of people have been saying about Caleb Williams and about basically the Ben Johnson offense. To me, and I say it, and everybody that be listening and that knows, I'm the one that's going to come out and say, hey, I'm gonna give you till probably about week 8 because right now I say the first 4 weeks is like preseason since none of the starters played in preseason and everything. And so I'm gonna see how you're gonna do after this particular first quarter of the season. When you get into that second quarter where it counts, where you see the offenses, you see the defenses, you see the special teams, and you know what to expect then. But for right now, I'm giving Chicago is teetering on that edge of saying, yeah, y'all could do something, or nah, y'all are who we know y'all are. So, so, and that's just how it is. Um, yeah, right. Yeah, that does. That does. Another another game that I'm sure that we all watched that basically surprised me was the Baltimore Detroit game. I I I knew it was going to be a battle, and my Ravens fan, he's not on here, but he should be calling in. But I felt like the Ravens got exposed, and the thing is, the way to beat the Ravens, run it down their throats, and I think that's what happened, and that's something that they wasn't expecting. And I actually said to a lot of these, I picked Detroit because I was like, Detroit is going to go into Baltimore, and they're going to beat Baltimore because Baltimore can't handle the firepower that they have. What was your assessment on it, and how do y'all feel that the game turned? Is there something that you see that I didn't that say, hey, Detroit should have lost, or is it something that Mike, you right? Detroit went in and did what they did, right? Right. Yeah. That yeah, that is true. And getting into the fact that um as you say, the offensive line breaking down and everything else, but it's also a thing called containment and gap integrity. And to me, Baltimore, when they was playing Detroit, wasn't having that gap integrity. And what that means is basically they have to hit the gap at a certain time. And when they didn't hit that gap, they was getting 5 to 8 yards a pop in the running game. And that was basically letting Detroit say, "Hey, there is no way on God's green earth should Detroit have ran 96 yards, 98 yards, touchdown drives, running the ball like they did." And a lot of that came from gap integrity, losing their assignments and missing their assignments. Um, right, right. That that is that is true. That is that is true too. Now, another one that I want to get on and talk about is the one that a lot of people thought, and I thought it was going to go a whole nother way too, and that is the Rams and the Eagles. I actually the Rams was to me this was a rematch of the divisional round, and but without the snow. And again, the Rams coulda and shoulda won that game. Um, right. And I would basically like to get y'all feedback on what y'all think because to me, it was one, they was the special teams for Philly was playing, you know, totally different lights out. But it was to me the surprise was the offensive side of the ball. Saquon Barkley really didn't get his thing off, which means Jared Verse and the Rams defense contained him a lot, as well as the passing game. And then also the big controversy that they're having was the referees. I got to give them their props for finally call up offsides or an illegal procedure against Philly doing a tush push, but then let them come back and do it again. So, but that's another conversation. But what would be y'all? What was y'all insight on that game? Me move